Hey everybody, so this week I just thought that I would answer some of the questions that I get on my Instagram Q&A that I put out every weekend. So, yep, let's just get started. I'm going to take the questions one by one and we'll take it from there. So, the first question is, there are so many of them. Okay, first question is any lazy exercise to build arm? So the laziest exercise is probably your seated dumbbell curls. You can set your bench at 45 degrees. That would make it quite difficult. If you want to make it really easy, you can just sit straight and sit on a bench, and you can do alternating curls, or one arm at a time, or you can do both together. You can do supination curls, or you could just do simple plain dumbbell curls. So if you sit, the advantage you have is that you don't use your lower back and your legs and your hips, and you don't swing the weight all the way up. So if you sit on any bench which has a backrest, that would be the most ideal scenario to make sure that you don't cheat and you're working your bicep. So that's about it. The next question is I know spot reduction is not possible, but any tips to reduce fat on the belly? So I think the question has already been answered. That spot reduction is not possible. What you want to do is work on being really regimented with your training, nutrition, supplementation, sleep, etc. And with time, as you slowly go about following a caloric restricted diet or a calorie deficit, and you start adding in cardio and activity as you go, you can phase out this process and systematically lose fat little by little as the weeks go by. Moving on, can functional trainings in circuits be cardio? Yes, of course it can be. You just need to make sure that you're able to keep your heart rate up, and you design a circuit in a way where you can do, I think Tabata is a perfect example. So where you go 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You can even do something a bit longer, like maybe 30 and 15 or 30 and 10. Or you can stick to this. I mean, see, the idea is that if you keep a longer working set, you would need a little bit of rest as well. And the other thing is that when you keep a longer working set, as you reach the end of the set, your intensity is going to drop. So be prepared for that. So if you're doing 60 seconds, it is not possible for you to go all in for 60 seconds straight. So your intensity is going to drop for the last 20 seconds, and make sure you adjust your rest time accordingly so that you are able to challenge your heart. Okay, once you decide your time split, you just want to take it according to your own pace, and then take it from there and work your way up. Okay. Next question. Okay, while in a deficit, you keep workouts same or make changes to volume and intensity? Interesting question. So, as you are getting deeper into a deficit, what tends to happen is that your energy level drops and your intensity might drop. Now, you need to navigate through this situation in order to keep your fat loss going. And you also have another challenge where you want to keep your muscle mass and your lean mass basically intact. Now, if you drop your workout intensity, your body is going to readily lose muscle and lose lean tissue because you're going to be eating less as well. So, in order to take care of that, you want to make sure that your intensity is consistent and you go through weeks of training heavy as well as training lighter weights for more repetitions, and also simultaneously working on your weak areas. So that will be a bit individual when you're trying to design the program, but more or less, I think you need to amp things up. And as you get leaner and leaner and leaner, and if once your physique is really, really dry, you can stay away from lifting very, very heavy weights. You can stick to moderate repetitions and push for more reps, focus on your time under tension, contraction, do a lot of tempo stuff, get a good squeeze on the muscle, get the blood moving and things like that. That is more towards, your pre-contest or pre-photo shoot kind of a routine, where you don't want to unnecessarily butcher your muscles when you're already more or less ready. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Moving on. This question is on what is my deadlift PR. So, my deadlift PR is 175 kgs. Okay, yeah, this one's interesting actually. Hi Tej, views on MK677 and GHRP6. Can a normal person have it? If I were to give you a straight answer, I'd just say no. Especially if you're not a competitor and if you're not into any kind of sports or performance related field, I would say just stay away from all these things. There are a couple of reasons actually, especially with MK. Most people I've seen who use MK677 are the ones who were scared of pinning GH. They're scared of needles. Based on what MK677 does, I think if you don't have a grip on your blood sugar levels and if you have not been monitoring yourself, it's not going to be one of those things that you take and you just go on with it, because it requires you to be really regimented to have your to make sure that you're doing things in a very systematic way, because this has a potential to cause insulin resistance going forward. And the issue with insulin resistance is that it also further affects the way nutrition is processed, and the insulin resistance will cause problems in the gaining process, which is the irony of the situation, because people who take MK are taking it because they want to gain muscle or gain size, but yeah, they end up just gaining a bunch of water and fat, and that's pretty much it, because MK is going to make you really, really hungry. So if you're taking MK, you need to also diet according to that if you want to make sure that you're getting all the benefits. And obviously, it is something that you should take if you're in a gaining phase, because you don't want to unnecessarily challenge yourself with a ravenous appetite while you're on a contest prep diet or you are trying to lose body fat. So, is MK677 really worth it? Especially for beginners, I don't think I would advise either. Okay. I think there are better alternatives when it comes to using MK. As far as GHRP6 is concerned, around a lot of people prefer taking it around workouts, and it gives you that growth hormone spike exactly when you need it, and it doesn't cause insulin resistance to that degree, so your nutrition partitioning is actually better. And you might get results at par with MK or if not better. So with GHRP6, I would say you can get away with it in comparison to MK when it comes to the whole insulin resistance aspect. So in all honesty, if you could pick your pharma grade GH, I think you would be better off using that, because most of these GH secretagogues are not really reliable. You don't know what is underdosed, what is overdosed, and you really can't get hold of the right stuff. So my blanket statement would be to just stay away from these things, especially if you don't belong to this industry, because it is absolutely unnecessary. You can just organically, for the lack of a better word, gain muscle mass over time by putting in the right amount of activity, nutrition, rest, and by being regimented and being a little more calculated with what you're doing. Because people often look for the shortcut, but what I've seen is that people don't spend enough time in a dedicated muscle gain phase, which makes things really difficult, and then everyone goes on to wonder why they're not gaining any weight and why they're not putting on muscle, because you've always been trying to lose fat and you've been trying to diet down, and that's not going to really help, right? So you need to work on your supplementation as well as your other areas of your nutrition, training, sleep, etc. And also the way your programs are being designed. And once you get all of those things in place, muscle gain is a slow process and that's going to take its time. I would not recommend either of the two, GHRP6 or MK677, to beginners at all. Okay. How to boost a testosterone naturally with foods? Look, so there are a lot of products that come out with the name of like testosterone boosters and stuff like that. You can try it out, but there is nothing that's going to really give you significant impact as actually taking your testosterone exogenously. So I would suggest to save your money, save your time, and just train hard, sleep well, and be regimented when it comes to these things. Don't drink too much, because all these things can affect your natural production of testosterone, which we should look to optimize. And the best way to do that is to basically take care of your nutrition, training, and sleep, and all the supplements, if at all you're taking any. Where you can optimize, because if you look at the test boosters, you can look at the herbal stuff that goes into it, and maybe you can do a combination of those things to help you. But as far as significantly helping your testosterone production, I think if you're really looking at it, maybe getting exogenous testosterone is the only solution as of now. Okay, the next question. क्या कोरोना ने स्टैमिना को कम किया होगा? So people who have recovered from COVID-19, I have heard a lot of stories where it takes a lot of time for them to get back their endurance and stamina. So yes, it is very much a possibility, because it does affect your cardiovascular and respiratory system. So you want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to recover. If you have already tested negative, work your way up, slow and steady. Keep your lungs and cardiovascular system really active. Do your breathing exercises. Go for a walk, etc. So don't go from 0 to 100 overnight thinking that, because your test came up negative or you have finished your quarantine, that you're okay. So don't go around trying to hit your PRs all over again. When it comes to nutrition, you want to make sure that you're either in a recomposition mode or you're in a maintenance mode. And when it comes to activity, you want to start from zero. Think of yourself like a beginner and start from zero, and then you will slowly be able to multiply your strength and endurance after a couple of weeks into the process. Okay, so this is the time to let your body recover and slowly get back into activity. Don't try to get back to your past levels of endurance and strength immediately. Okay. Moving on. Next question is, am I Indian? The answer is yes, I am very much Indian. Okay, so there's a question on pull-up progression. So, अगर पुल-अप्स नहीं जाए तो कोई बड़ी बात है, या उसके बदले हम लैट पुल डाउन मारे तो चलेगा? ओके, एंड स्टेप बाय स्टेप क्या करें अगर पुल-अप्स नहीं जा रहा है तो स्टार्ट कैसे करें? ओके, सो आई एम गोना पुट इट इन वेरी सिंपल वर्ड्स. I used to think that if you do many lat pull downs one day, you will be able to go ahead and do a pull up. But that's not the case, because when you're sitting down, your core is supported, you don't have to lift the weight of your legs, you don't have to stabilize your body, etc. etc. When you do pull ups, the mechanics is completely different. You cannot have that much of a carryover strength between these two. Although, yes, of course, building lat strength can help you get more pull-ups, but when it comes to learning how to do the pull-up or just doing lat pull-downs is not exactly enough. Okay, you need to learn how to work using the bar so that one day you'll be able to pull yourself up. So the starting point is usually something as simple as, let's say, an inverted row. Inverted row is a great progression to teach body weight pulling strength. And eventually you can work your way up to dead hangs, and you can do eccentric pull-ups, use a bench, get to the bar and control on the way down. And you can also use resistance bands to help you get your pull-ups and slowly reduce the assistance that you're getting from the resistance bands. So that's pretty much it. But overall, the journey requires you to be very, very patient. So don't give up and just be persistent, because that's what is going to get you there. And in the meanwhile, if you are carrying excess body weight, make sure you're working to reduce body fat, because the lesser weight you carry, the easier it is to pull yourself. So yep, that's pretty much it for today. That sums up our this week's Q&A. Thank you guys for joining. It was a lot of fun and looking forward to see you guys soon. Bye.